Late, hello. Hi, hi. So, oops, forgot something. I did do the mirror thing. Because I need to look in the other direction. That's better. Now I can actually see the game. Or something. Alright, so, we'll just get right into it. Gotta do some questing. We will kill a few more goblins. I did get the mining, so... Oh, I didn't buy a pickaxe though.
What are you looking for?
Let's get a mining pick.
Careful.
Hi there. So, plan today. I would say reach at least level 10. Which should be more than possible. Yeah, I did do the settings a bit. There's no more markers on the world map and mini-map. If I need them, I can still re-enable them, but I like it better like this for now. Like, I just want this tracker because I can move it wherever I want. So that it's actually in a place where I want it. No, spider. We'll just kill a few goblins until the gold dust drops, I guess, while the ad's going. If they don't drop immediately. Which they might. Alright, kill it. I got a cobalt mining shovel. That is a damage upgrade. How do you like your shovel now? What does this one do? Well, there's the gold dust. And the ad hasn't even started yet. Excellent. We'll just start moving over to the Murlocs and then wait there, I suppose. No, leave me alone. I can probably move this downward. But there's the... I mean... It's not like that matters. Oh yeah, we do have... We can just turn this quest in. We do have the Crystal Kelp and Bernie's necklace. Oh! Right, I do need to go through the mine. Hold up. We're going back. I still need to collect that necklace. Yes, unfortunately, the mine. There's a kobold in there that needs killing. If I can find him, that is. The other character I saw leave just now probably has cleared this place out. So I'm gonna be trapped in respawn, maybe. I think he was all the way back here. There he is, Gold Tooth. That's the one. So if I do this quickly enough, I might beat the respawn. No, you don't. Alright, we got the necklace. And now we get the fuck out of here. We'll be fine, I think. Yep, out of combat. Excellent. Now we can turn this in. But yeah, as you can also see, we have some rested experience down here. It goes until this marker. That happened because I logged out in the inn. So I get a little bit more experience for a bit.
Safe travels.
But only like for mob kills. So it's not super big. That's also why the XP bar is blue. While it's blue, you have rested experience. It gets purple again once that is used up. You can have like 150 or 200% of a level, so you can have like 2 levels saved up, but that takes like a week of staying in an inn. So we'll probably have some more rested experience for next Tuesday. Might even take more than a week, I think. So that will help with leveling. But again, it's only like for slaying monsters. So quests won't be boosted by it. I didn't do the characters for Northshire, unfortunately, yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow or something.
Hello. Safe travels.
I did get a new mount on retail today. From one of the Mists of Pandaria world bosses. That's pretty cool. Now I no longer need to kill him. I think I have everything else from him. But at least I won't have to kill him for the mount anymore. It's a big... It's kind of similar to a Kodo, which we'll see when we get to the Tauren. Oh no, we have seen Kodos in Warcraft 3, so like the big Kodos from the Tauren campaign. The ones on the caravan that we escorted and such. It's similar to that. It looks a bit different, but it's quite similar. I think they use the same animations and everything. That's 2 Murlocs. Can I get just one? No, I cannot. Big surprise there. What will be a game changer when I get high enough to learn something like Hammer of Justice, because then I have a stun, which will make things easier. Fucking Murlocs. Hate you. I'm still not sure if I should use Seal of Righteousness, which will give 25 holy damage when I unleash it with Judgment. I think I should start with Seal of the Crusader. Because that gives him take more holy damage. Oh, we leveled up. That's cool. Because this gives up to 10 holy damage, and this gives up to 23 more holy damage. So I should start with Seal of the Crusader. And when I start a fight, and then switch to Seal of Righteousness. Is probably the best. I think it's like probably percentage based how much more they take. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to have some extra damage. And this gets refreshed with melee strikes. So there, it goes back to the original duration. So that's cool. Which means I only need to do this once at the start of the fight. It also gives like, I might have to move the tooltip somewhere else. So you can actually see that as well. Can I even move the tooltip? Hold on. Doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, well, that's fine. Alright, the Murloc quest is done. This was in the inn. That's for the invisibility potion. Oh, I am an idiot. I need to do this to actually see ores. I thought that was already on, but it's not auto-enabled. Oh, there we already have one. Let's pick that up. Yeah, there's also Earthroot. Okay, that was a bit laggy. That's this. Oh, hold on. I get to do this multiple times. Alright. That's something they changed later on, where you only need to mine it once and you get all the loot at the same time. So that's something I'm much more used to. So it's like, hit the node, gather everything, and fuck off. Especially helpful on a class that has, like, druids are basically the master herb class. They can gather herbs while in flying form, while other characters have to dismount. So you swoop down, loot the herb, and go away. And usually you harvest quick enough that the mobs don't matter. Like, if a mob hits you while you're gathering, it will interrupt it. But then you can like hide them away a short distance or something and then gather the herb and it's done. Oops. Didn't read that out.
What can I do for you? Hey there.
Take this invisibility liquid to young Mabel. It should last long enough for her to visit Tommy Joe.
See you later.
It's just a quest I did anyway, so. Anyway, we'll go back to the farm now. Turn that in. Oh yeah, now the rested XP has already gone from the Murloc kills, so now I just get 100% XP from kills. So previously it was like... I actually don't see it in the chat. I don't think I have those enabled. Where? Fine. If you want to die that badly. Oh yeah, and these can fail. Ooh, got a shadow gem. I think the expansion locked guy is also back today. He was away for like a week. So we might raid him later. Technically that's all spoilers, but it won't matter. You have no context. At all. But I do want to support a couple of the other people that do witch like this. I've also listed them all in the suggested. Like there's Shax, which is the expansion locked guy that does Shadowlands. There is that's probably no, it's on the other. This is the wrong farm. There's Shax for expansion locked Shadowlands. There's Tansa, which is also currently not around, but he'll be back soon, I think. Who does Battle for Azeroth expansion locked. And then there's Shadow Fate, who does zone locked challenges, I think. Or just general ATT gathering. And there's Nabel, who does zone locked challenges. He's currently going through TVC zones, so like the last time he had to kill a specific kind of mob to get a drop that he can trade 30 off for a box, and that box can have some armor, and he needed one specific set of boots left, and he had to buy like 159 boxes or something to get it. So, yeah. Fun times. That's the thing. But he's also like, he does buy stuff for the character from like the gold he's made. He has like 1.5 million gold on that character. That is on retail though. That's not on TBC anniversary. Did you deliver my letter to Tommy Joe? What did he say?
See you around.
Oh my, I feel guilty deceiving my family, but my feelings for Tommy Joe are too strong to ignore. Thank you, Dustin. I'll drink this liquor as soon as I have the chance and sneak away to my love. And for you, please take this.
Have a good one.
Hooray, healing pots. I will take those gladly. Alright. We might go along the south here and try for that farm. I know I did that quest before, so we can get also some more discovery on this map. Ah yes, days, my favorite mechanic. That's just why I play tank and open world content. So there's this mechanic where if you get hit from behind, you have a chance to get dazed. So you get slowed down. Tanks don't get dazed. Ever. You're basically immune to that. So usually I play tank and open world content, so I don't have to bother with it. Alright, can we not fail the mining? It's a rock. How hard is it to hit? What is there on the vendors? Ah, that's the earth fruit. Yes, basically, like Paladin has this like immunity stuff, so you have divine protection that makes people immune. to physical attacks and spells. You have Divine Shield, which does the same, but is for the Paladin only. That's basically the famous thing that the bubble, which it's usually called, the Divine Shield, lasts long enough for you to cast Hearthstone. And you can't be hit while you are in the bubble. So, that's why Paladins are famous for bubble halving. Like, you're in danger, PvP, just bubble and half away. Back to the inn you've set it to avoid dying. Druids have their forms, which are really useful. You get like a movement speed increase in the underwater breathing with the aquatic form, a bear form for tanking, a cat form for melee DPSing and such. So there's all different kinds of forms. And of course flying form, which was added in this, like in the Burning Crusade, because Burning Crusade added flying. Rogues are famous for stealth and being absolute overpowered in PvP. They have lots of CCs, blinds, dazes, stuns, like it's a bit ridiculous. Anyway, let's see. I need princess. Princess is running around here. Those are all level 9. Ah, that's the wrong one. I just need to kill Princess, then I can run away. Yeah, sure. Alright. Okay, that's something I need to fix. And goodbye. So, since mob credit is unique, so once you attack a mob, others won't get loot from it anymore. So that's why that player invited me to a group so they could share the credit for the kill. That's also why I accepted it immediately. Let me disable that. Where is that? Auto. Yeah. Not now, bear. Right, it doesn't. Can't do the options while I'm in combat. No, that's not it. I want to not post stuff like this. Is that in general? Ah. Disabled. There we go. Just to be sure, now it's disabled and I won't post questy notifications in parties or see any. Because I honestly don't care. So go back to that farm. Well, we can actually, let's go to the bridge there and turn that quest in, because I think it sends me back. But yeah, we've already reached level 8 now, which is the highest that we were before, so progress. It's open. Still quite a few quests to go through. Until this is done. We got another zone drop. Okay, the boar meat because of this, but this is like a whole different zone. This is the dwarves, so we'll not be doing that quest for a while. Let me get that ore. Right, the map is expanding, so I think we have already uncovered a bit more than before. Mostly these two sections. I think those were not... I didn't manage to uncover beforehand. Oh yeah, this is the Tower of Azora, which is totally not related to me.
King's honor, friend. For the Alliance.
Yes, Murlocs have settled in and around the streams of Eastern Elven. We don't know why they're here, but they're aggressive and at least semi-intelligent.
Go with honor, friend.
A few days ago we sent 2 guards, Rolf and Malachi, to investigate along the river, and they have not yet returned. To complete my report, I must know what happened to those men. Travel north along the river and find the guards. Or their remains.
Light bless you.
Hail, Dustin. Wild animals are growing more and more aggressive the farther we get from Goldshire, and the East Vale logging camp suffers nearly constant attacks from wolves and bears. We could use your help out here.
For the Alliance.
Okay. I don't think there was a flying point here, so we'll go back. I need to go back to the farm anyway. And we need to go up to this mine. This is the Jesper Lode mine here. Like that cave. I know that once I've turned in the princess quest, I will be at the same place where I was before. We didn't go into the other mine. On the first little session I had. And we definitely didn't do the guards and finish the killing quest for the animals. While I'm on Goldshire, I will also check the Paladin Trainer, because I have reached level 8, so I might get something new. We can also do a quick check. Like selling stuff. And do a quick bit of smithing. Let's actually put smelting here. And blacksmithing right next to it. Because I can make 16 copper ingots. And you can also see there's a lot of recipes that I can learn. These are the different, like... So right now this is only 75, but once I get it high enough I can go to 150, 225 and then 300. 300 is the maximum and classic. And so on. And then you have a bunch of recipes that you can get from some instances. So you won't be able to smell dark iron or elementium until you have done these instances, and this is a raid. So yes, it usually gets raised by 75 with each expansion after that. At least like for the first couple. So in Burning Crusade it's 375. Right, actually here there's... No, that's not it. Why is this here? Oh, because it was originally in Classic but then it got removed in Cataclysm, but re-added in Dragonflight. I see. I'll definitely do a couple of the professions. There's a couple of professions that were added later on. So, for example, the Burning Crusade added jewel crafting as a profession that wasn't there in Classic, so I will be ignoring it until then. I mean, it's not really relevant for lore much. Wrath of the Lich King added Inscription, which was pretty funny at the time, because so there was a whole system where you had glyphs that increased character power, so you needed those specific ones depending on your spec, and then there was also some cosmetic stuff, and then later on those got added, a change that they were mostly just cosmetics, and you got other stuff for Inscription, and there's only like a couple per class now. Was really gutted the system. Okay, let's talk to the Paladin trainer real quick.
Light be with you.
We can get Parry and Purify, which allows us to remove 1 disease and 1 poison effect. And there it is. We now have Hammer of Justice, which is a stun. Which one is this one? Now we can Purify here. Right. So let's sell some stuff, like these armor pieces I don't need. We'll keep this. Also don't need the food.
Safe travels.
And so we can... Yeah, we'll just make all the copper that I can. I might also try to sell some stuff later on, like we might probably sell the Shadow Gem in the auction house the next time I'm in Stormwind. To make some gold, so I can actually make the guild and stuff. I'm also gonna need to make the guild like twice, once on Alliance and once on Horde side, because
What can I do for you?
like for this I can't invite them all to the same. Alright, so we can make some stuff. Let's create some sharpening stones first. Although I would personally need this, but I don't have any linen cloth, but we'll get the points at least. Some of these are upgrades, maybe not right. They are. All of them are upgrades. Okay, we'll make one of each then. If I can. Yeah, the sharpening stones are for bladed weapons, so like swords and two-handed swords and that stuff, while the weight stones are for blunt weapons like my shovel. Because this is a mace. Right, let's make some... Oh, I need a blacksmith hammer. Okay, well, that can be fixed.
What can I do for you? What can I help you with? Be careful.
Fun that I don't need that for the other stuff. Alright, we'll put these here. Alright, 1 copper chain pants. 1 rough copper vest. And we want some copper braces. And then let's equip these real quick. Fancy.
Greetings.
Can I already learn something new? Yes, I can learn a copper mace.
See you around.
So now I have 1 more recipe here. Well, we can make some more copper braces to get more points. That might at least put me at 20. Yep. And we can sell them to the vendor after that.
You need something?
So I can learn copper axe and copper chain boots. And here's journeyman. So I need 50 blacksmithing to go to 150, 125 to go to 225, and 200 to go to 300
See you later.
to unlock the maximum.
Light be with you.
Right. Keep that. We don't really need those. I don't need those either.
Go with honor, friend.
Right, back to the farm. We definitely should be able to get this today. I think. We'll see. Level-wise, we should be good for the remaining quests on the east side there.
Need help?
Did you see her yet? Did you get her?
Have a good one.
Thank goodness. That pig was getting so big she'd have eaten our whole crop. Thank you, Dustin. Now, do either of these suit you? Well, apparently,
travels.
yes. I just got an upgrade. Alright, fine. Alright, let's go to the just below mine. Because that's here, and the other stuff is around here. So that's technically closer. We're also getting reputation, so we're almost honored with Stormwind. I can actually track this as well. So you get reputation with factions, which lets you buy rewards. And we'll have, like, it goes up to Exalted. You usually start at neutral. For many of them, like with your factions for Alliance, you start at friendly. Neutral to friendly takes 3,000. Friendly to honored takes 6,000. Honored to revered or revered, I'm not sure, takes 12,000. And then revered to exalted takes 21,000 reputation. So that's gonna be a bit. There is, I think, in this thing I can make... I think I can make... No, I can't make... Can I make a button for this? Key bindings? Yes, I can. Okay, I like to have that on a button. I think there's like, yeah, reputation for this. I mean, I got like 275 points for that quest I just did. So it's not too bad. There's a lot of quests that you get. And later on, they added other methods as well, where you could get reputation from. Like, for example, later on, you got like the tabards that you could equip that boosted reputation gains and such. Do you have
Looking for
anything
something
interesting?
specific?
No, of course you do not.
Have a good one.
I also checked, a guild charter needs 10 signatures, so we'll see if we can get that. You know what, let him have that. I'm pretty sure he's fighting him there because of the ore. I don't need the copper that badly. How much is left? So logging camp is around here. Forest's edge. 20. Should probably be, yeah, around here. Ridgepoint Tower, I'm not sure. Stonecan Lake is up there. Westbrook is here. I think this might be... No, Ridgepoint Tower. 8277. Oh yeah, it's around here. Okay, well that's gonna happen eventually. Oh dear. Alright, we do need some of these bears. As well as the wolves. Although that's not a prowler, not these. Okay, that didn't last as long as I thought it would. You know what? I'm gonna check the tower for lore books. Why is there gnomes here? Okay. It's a bit weird.
Good
But
day
there's
to
a
you.
Clovia, which doesn't have
Have a
anything
good one.
interesting. No lore books on this floor. There's an
King's
enchanting
honor.
trainer here.
Safe travels. Help you find something?
Right, these things.
Light bless you.
And you get like... I don't know what this is for. That's a tower in Red Ridge Mountains. I'm not sure why. Okay. Oh, that was pointless. You'd think a mage would have more books that you can read. You'd be wrong. Yeah, I think it was something like that. I definitely do not do enough damage. Right, we can see the mine in the distance. Those are all grey forest wolves, those are not prowlers. Okay. There's quite a few kobolds around. I'm gonna have to fight my way through them a little. Pretty sure. At least these are lower level than the bears. They do give me an armor reduced debuff, which is not great. This is again a damage upgrade, so sure. Maybe that's a caster. Try to ignore that. Now I don't remember how far I need to go in, but there is a copper vein here. There's one up there too. No, not that. Let's reduce the damage I take just a little bit. Oh boy. Yeah, no, we're resetting this. Might kill one. Okay, excellent. We got two again. Now I'm kind of out of mana, but at least the things are dead. Ah, this is a dead end. And we already have a mob back. That's not ideal. And I don't have any drink, which is fine. I don't need it that much. Well, speak of the devil. Alright, we got the quest. So I can leave after this one. But just for the lols, there is sometimes a rare here. But you know, the kobolds suddenly give way to spiders. And you have a lot of health. Alright, I'm leaving. That copper ore is not worth it. I can just use this. I am now immune and I can still move, so... And you get a debuff that you can't use this stuff for like a minute. So you can't just spam the invulnerabilities. The interesting part is this here. So Divine Shield is the aforementioned bubble. Divine Protection is what I just used. And then there's Blessing of Protection, which you can also put on other players. Like this is just Divine Protection and Divine Shield is just for myself. Blessing of Protection can be put on other target and protects them from physical attacks. Avenging Wrath is a damage buff for yourself. So in this version of the game, you still couldn't use the damage buff if you had recently used the bubble, which, you know, is kind of bad. I don't remember what the cooldown was on Avenging Wrath during this. We'll get it eventually, I think. Right, we'll go back for the Desperate Mine quest. And see if there's any follow-ups to that. Yeah, you don't have level interest in this one. Okay. Also need to find some prowlers and more bears. This is Mangy Wolf. That's not the one I need. There's a bear. Let's kill it real quick. It's one of the ones I need. And there's also an ore nearby. Ah, someone's already at it. Alright. That's fine. It would be nice if I had more skills than just judgment that I could press. Ooh, another gem. Malachite. I'm almost running out of space. Gonna need to sell some stuff. I'm almost back at Goldshire anyway, so I can just do that. Oh, more Mangy Wolves. We can... I mean, I can take a look and see if there's any skills coming up soon. I'm still so... Like, the name Angry Furby is just so funny to me. I hope this is a druid.
Well met.
Kobolds at the Jesperlod mine, you say? Curses! The situation is worsening by the minute. Thank you for the report, Dustin, but I wish that the news you brought was good news.
For the Alliance.
The garrison on our western border sends word of increasing gnoll and thief activity. They are requesting we send more Stormwind soldiers, but we just don't have any to spare. If you can help, we could use it. Go and speak with Deputy Rayner at the Westbrook garrison and see what he needs done. The garrison is down the road to the west. After you cross the bridge over the small brook, it will be to the right.
Go with honor, friend.
So now I basically have two directions to pick. We either go to the west to the garrison, or we go to the east to the Murlocs. Both situations are not ideal. And I'll complete both anyway. Probably go east because that's the ones we picked up first. So these you can buy these from the vendor. I can just make some more chain pants to increase my skill though. The colors basically mean orange is a guaranteed skill up. Yellow is usually a skill up, but it can rarely not give one. So usually you want to focus on the ones that are orange or yellow to raise your skill. I wonder if one's gonna change. Apparently not currently. Yes, there's two more colors than that. But we might not be hitting one yet. Okay, not yet. I should be able to learn something new though. Copper sword. And a rough grinding stone.
Greetings. See you around.
Grinding stones are, I guess, a material for other crafts. Oops. Alright.
I supply
Merchant.
only the finest goods.
I am going to need to sell you some shit that I don't need. We'll keep the linen cloth.
Light bless you.
Alright, let's check the paladin trainer real quick.
Greetings.
Consecration is a skill. That's AoE damage. Other than that, Holy is mostly healing. Should probably check Retribution. This is Avenging Wrath, 30% for 20 seconds, 3 minutes cooldown. Alright, I don't see any skills. They might be in talents, which we haven't unlocked yet. Alright, I'm gonna go and visit the auction house real quick. We'll sell these gems. Oh, I forgot to sell that thing. So I'll at least attempt to sell them. Because I need some money. Technically I can afford like the guild charter now. But I want to save up a little bit more. Because I need it for buying new recipes for blacksmithing. As well as the skills. At the paladin trainer, so... And of course the goal is to get some money for later on the mount training and such. So I can afford those, because that will be big. Because the running around, like, look how fast he is on his mount. I want one too. First mount is available at level 20. Auction house first. And then I can use the Hearthstone to go back to the Goldshire Inn. So we have the nice inn music again for background. That is a lot. These. Oh, okay. Well, this is all just Warlock stuff. I see. 531 stuff for professions. That's a lot. As you can see, this is a pretty full world. Like, there's lots of players. So I might be able to find groups for stuff later on. Alright, auctions. I should probably check the prices first. Shadow Gem. Yeah, I'm not even sure that's worth. This is, however, only bidding, so we'll put it at 1988. Okay. 1889, 1988. And it costs like 144 for depositing. We'll put it there. If I search again, someone has already... I don't think I can see my own auctions. So... Wait. Oops. I did it wrong. I put it for gold instead of silver. I'm a dumbass. I was wondering. Oh, nobody has said. Nobody is selling malachite. So let's set this at also 18 silver. And 19. We'll see if someone buys that. Let's put a realistic price on it. And then you have to collect your stuff from a mailbox. There's one. It's interesting that I moved this later. Yes, that's not where I'm familiar with the mailbox. I mean, the auction house did also change, so... it should be, like, you should be able to spell malachite, then you might also find some. But nobody seems to sell the base gems. So that's okay. So we'll sell it for 1710, 1799. Alright, we'll see if somebody buys this. I'm not super invested if not. Alright, let's Hearthstone. That also gives me some rest experience while I'm reading. Is there a chair I can use in here? Yep. Alright. Let me pull up the thing. I will be right back, putting on some lights and stuff. Alright, there we are again. Let's see, there we go. I do have to do this little adjustment every time. Nope, not like that. I need the white thing. There we go. Now I'm not blocking any words. Alright, time for chapter 3 of The Well of Eternity. Koyalstras reached the shores of Kalimdor late in the day. He and Ronan paused only to eat, the dragon imbibing and fare far away from the wizard's sight, and then set off again for the vast mountain chain that covered much of the western regions of the land. Koyalstras flew with more and more urgency as they neared their goal. He had not told Ronan that every now and then he attempted to contact Nosdormu. Attempted and failed. Soon, however, that would not matter, for they would know firsthand what had so distressed the aspect of time. "That peak," Ronan shouted. Although he had slept again, he hardly felt fresh. Nightmares concerning the sinister island had haunted his dreams. "I recognize that peak." The dragon nodded. It was the final landmark before their destination. Had he not seen it at the same time as his rider, he would have nonetheless sensed the wrongness in the very fabric of reality. And that meant something terrible indeed awaited them. Despite that certainty, the Leviathan only picked up his pace. There was no other choice. Whatever lay ahead, the only ones who might stop it were him and the tiny human figure he carried. But while the sharp eyes of man and dragon had sighted their destination, they failed to notice eyes that had sighted them in turn. "A red dragon," grumbled the first orc. "A red dragon with a rider." "One of us, Brox?" asked the second. "Another orc?" Brox snorted at his companion. The other orc was young. Too young to have been much use in the war against the Legion, and he certainly would not have remembered when it had been orcs, not humans, who had ridden such beasts. Gaskell only knew the stories, the legends. "Gaskell, you fool, the only way a dragon would carry an orc these days would be in his belly." Gaskell shrugged, unconcerned. He looked every inch the proud orc warrior, tall and muscular, with a rough greenish hide, and two good-sized tusks thrusting upward from his broad lower jaw. He had the squat nose and thick bushy brow of an orc, and a mane of dark hair trailing down between his shoulders. In one meaty hand, Gaskell hefted a huge war axe, while with the other he clutched the strap of his goatskin backpack. Like Brox, he was clad in a thick fur cloak, under which he wore a leather kilt and sandals wrapped in cloth to preserve heat. A hardy race, orcs could survive any element, but high in the mountains even they required more warmth. Brox too was a proud warrior, but time had beaten at him as no other enemy could. He stood several inches shorter than Gaskell, part of that due to a slight but permanent stoop. The veteran warrior's mane had thinned and started going grey. Scars and lines of age had ravaged his wide, bullish visage, and unlike his youthful companion, the constant expression of eagerness had given way to thoughtful distrust and wariness. Hefting his well-worn warhammer, Brox trudged through the deep snow. "They're heading for the same place as us." "How do you know that?" "Where else would they be going here?" Finding no argument, Gaskell quieted, giving Brox the chance to think about the reason that had sent both of them to this desolate place. He had not been there when the old shaman had come to Thrall seeking an immediate audience, but he had heard the details. Naturally, Thrall had acquiesced, for he very much followed the old ways and considered Kalthar a sage advisor. If Kalthar needed to see him immediately, it could only be for a very good reason, or a very bad one. With the aid of two of Thrall's guards, withered Kalthar entered and took a seat before the towering war chief. Out of respect for the elder, Thrall sat on the floor, enabling the eyes of both to meet at the same level. Across Thrall's folded legs lay the massive square-headed Doomhammer, bane of the Horde's enemies for generations. The new war chief of the Orcs was broad-shouldered, muscular, and, for his position, relatively young. No one doubted Thrall's ability to rule, however. He had taken the orcs from the internment camps and given them back their honor and pride. He had made the pact with the humans which brought about the chance for the Horde to begin life anew. The people already sang songs of him that would be passed down generation after generation. Clad in thick ebony plate armor etched in bronze, handed down to him along with a huge weapon by his predecessor, the legendary Orgrim Doomhammer, the greatest of warriors bent his head low and humbly asked, "How may I assist you who honor my presence, Great One?" "Only by listening," Kalthal returned, "and by truly listening." The strong-jawed Horde chief leaned forward, his startling and so very rare blue eyes, considered a portent of destiny by his people, narrowed in anticipation. In his journey from slave and gladiator to ruler, Thrall had studied the path of the shaman, even mastering some of the skills. He more than most understood that when Kalthal talked so, he did with good reason. And so the shaman told Thrall of the vision of the funnel and how time seemed a plaything to it. He told him of the voices and their warnings, told him about the wrongness he had felt. Told Thrall what he feared would happen if the situation was left unchecked. When Kalthal finished, the war chief leaned back. Around his throat he wore a single medallion upon which had been inscribed in gold an axe and hammer. His eyes revealed the quick wit and intelligence that marked him as a capable leader. When he moved not as brutish orc might. When he moved not as a brutish orc might, but with a grace and poise more akin to a human or an elf. "This smells of magic," he rumbled. "Big magic. Something for wizards. Maybe." "They may know already," returned Kalthal, "but we cannot afford to wait for them, Great War Chief." Thrall understood. "You would have me send someone to this place you saw?" "It would seem most prudent, at least so we may know what we face." The war chief rubbed his chin. "I think I know who. A good warrior." He looked to the guards. "Brox. Get me Brox." And so Brox had been summoned and told his mission. Thrall respected Brox highly, for the older warrior had been a hero of the last war, the only survivor of a band of brave fighters holding a critical pass against the demons. With his warhammer, Brox himself had caved in the skulls of more than a dozen of the fiery foes. His last comrade had died cleaved in two, just as reinforcements had arrived to save the day. Scarred, covered in blood, and standing alone amid the carnage, Brox had appeared to the newcomers as a vision out of the old tales of his race. His name became almost as honored as that of Thrall. But it was more than the veteran's name that garnered the respect of the war chief and made him Thrall's choice. Thrall knew that Brox was like him, a warrior who fought with his head as well as his arm. The orc leader could not send an army into the mountains. He needed to trust the search to one or two skilled fighters who could then report their findings to him. Gaskell was chosen to accompany Brox because of his swiftness and absolute obedience to orders. The younger orc was part of the new generation that would grow up in relative peace with the other races. Brox was glad to have the able fighter at his side. The shaman had so perfectly described the route through the mountains that the pair were well ahead of the estimated time the trek should have taken. By Brox's reckoning, the goal lay just beyond the next ridge, exactly where the dragon and rider had vanished. Brox's grip on his hammer tightened. The orcs had agreed to peace, but he and Gaskell would fight if need be, even if it meant their certain deaths. The older warrior forced away the grim smile that nearly played across his face at the last thought. Yes, he would be willing to fight to the death. What Thrall had not known when he summoned the war hero to him had been that Brox suffered from terrible guilt. Guilt that had eaten at his soul since that day in the pass. They had all perished, all but Brox, and he could not understand that. He felt guilty for being alive, for not dying valiantly with his comrades. To him, his still being alive was a matter of shame, of failure to give his all as they had done. Since that time he had waited and hoped for some opportunity to redeem himself and die. Now perhaps the fates had granted him that. "Get a move on," he ordered Gaskell. "We can reach them before they get settled in." Now he allowed himself a wide grin, one that his companion would read as typical orc enthusiasm. "And if they give us any trouble, we'll make him think the entire horde is on the rampage again." If the island upon which they had landed seemed a dire place, the mountain pass in which they now descended simply felt wrong. That was the best word Ronan could use to describe the sensations flowing through him. Whatever they sought, it should not be. It was as if the very fabric of reality had made some terrible error. The intensity of the feeling was such that the wizard, who had faced every conceivable nightmare, wanted the dragon to turn back. He said nothing though, recalling how he had already revealed his uncertainties on the island. Koyalstas might already regret summoning him. The crimson behemoth arched his wings as he dropped final distance. His massive paws sank into the snow as he sought a stable landing area. Ronan clutched the dragon's neck tightly. He felt every vibration and hoped his grip would last. His pack bounced against his back, pummeling him. At last Koyalstas came to a halt. The reptilian visage turned the wizard's way. "Are you well?" As well as I could be," gasped Ronan. He had made dragon flights before, but not for so long. Either Koyalstas knew his passenger was still weary, or the dragon himself also needed rest after such a monumental trek. "We shall remain here for a few hours. Gather our strength. I sense no change in the emanations I feel. We should have the time to recoup. It would be the wisest choice." "I won't be arguing with you," Ronan answered, sliding off. The wind blew harshly through the mountains, and the high peaks left much shadow, but with the aid of some magic and an overhang, the wizard managed to keep warm enough. While he tried to stretch the kinks out of his body, Koyalstas strode along the pass, scouting the area. The behemoth vanished some distance ahead as the path curved. Hood draping his head, Ronan dozed. This time his thoughts filled with good images. True images of Risa and the upcoming birth. The wizard smiled, thinking of his return. He woke at the sound of approach. To Ronan's surprise, it was not the dragon Koyalstas who returned to him, but rather the cowled-robed figure of Krasus. In response to the human's widening eyes, the dragon mage explained, "There are several unstable areas nearby. This form is less likely to cause them to collapse. I can always transform again should the need arise." "Did you find anything?" The not quite elven face pursed. "I sense the aspect of time. He is here, and yet he is not. I'm disturbed by that. Should we start?" But before Ronan could finish, a horrific yowl echoed harshly through the mountain chain. The sound set every nerve of the wizard on edge. Even Krasus looked perturbed. "What was that?" asked Ronan. "I do not know." The dragon mage drew himself up. "We should move on. Our goal lies not far away." "We're not flying?" "I sense that what we seek lies within a narrow passage between the next mountains. A dragon would not fit, but 2 small travelers would." With Krasus leading, the pair headed northeast. Ronan's companion appeared, unbothered by the cold, though the human had to enhance the protective spell on his clothes. Even then, he felt the chill of the land upon his face and fingers. Before long, they came upon the beginning of the passage Krasus had mentioned. Ronan saw now what the other meant. The passage was little more than a cramped corridor. Half a dozen men could walk side by side through it without feeling constricted, but a dragon attempting to enter would have barely been able to get its head in, much less its gargantuan body. The high steep sides also created even thicker shadows, making Ronan wonder if the two might need to create some sort of illumination along the way. Krasus pressed on without hesitation, certain of their path. He moved faster and faster, almost as if possessed. The wind howled even harder through the natural corridor, its intensity building as they journeyed. Only human, Ronan had to struggle to keep pace with his former patron. "Are we almost there?" he finally called. "Soon. It lies only..." Krasus paused. "What is it?" The dragon mage focused inwardly, frowning. It's not exactly where it should be anymore." "It moved?" "That would be my assumption." "Is it supposed to do that?" the fiery-haired wizard asked, squinting down the dark path ahead. "You're under the misconception that I know perfectly what to expect, Ronan. I understand little more than you." That did not at all please the human. "So what do you suggest we do?" The eyes of the inhuman mage literally flared as he contemplated the question. "We go on. That is all we can do." But only a short distance ahead, they came across a new obstacle of sorts, one that Krasus had been unable to foresee from high up in the air. The passage split off in two directions, and while it was possible that they merged further on, the pair could not assume that. Krasus eyed both paths. They each run near to our goal, but I cannot sense which lies closer. We need to investigate both. Do we separate? I would prefer not to, but we must. We will each journey 500 paces in, then turn back and meet here. Hopefully we will then have a better sense of which to take. Taking the corridor to the left, Ronan followed Krasus' instructions. As he rapidly counted off paces, he soon determined that his choice had potential. Not only did it greatly widen ahead, but the wizard thought he sensed the disturbance better than ever. Where Krasus' abilities were more acute than his, even a novice could sense the wrongness that now pervaded the region beyond. But despite his confidence in his choice, Ronan did not yet turn around. Curiosity drove him on. Surely a few steps more would hardly matter. He had barely taken more than one, however, when he sensed something new, something quite disturbing. Ronan paused, trying to detect what felt different about the anomaly. It was moving, but there was more to his anxiety than that alone. It was moving toward him, and rapidly. He felt it before he saw it. It felt as if all time compressed, then stretched, then compressed again. Ronan felt old, young, and every moment of life in between. Overwhelmed, the wizard hesitated. And the darkness before him gave way to a myriad flaring of colors, some of which he had never seen before. And a continual explosion of elemental energy filled both empty air and solid rock, rising to fantastic heights. Ronan's limited mind saw it best as a looming fiery flower that bloomed, burned away and bloomed again, and with each blooming grew more and more imposing. As it neared, he finally came to his senses. Whirling, the mage ran. Sounds assailed his ears. Voices, music, thunder, birds, water, everything. Despite his fears that it would overtake him, the phenomenal display fell behind. Ronan did not stop running, fearing that at any moment it would surge forward and envelop him. Krasus surely had to have sensed the latest shift. He had to be hurrying to meet Ronan. Together they would devise some way in which to... A terrible howl echoed through the pass. A massive, eight-legged lupin form dropped down on him. Had he been other than what he was, the wizard would have perished there, the meal of a savage saber-toothed creature with 4 gleaming green eyes to go with its 8 clawed limbs. The monstrous wolf creature brought him down, but Ronan, having magicked his garments to better protect him from the elements, proved a hard nut to crack. The claw scraped at a cloak that should have readily tattered, only to have instead one nail snap off. Grey fur standing on end, the beast howled its frustration. Ronan took the opening, casting a simple but effective spell that had saved him in the past. A cacophony of light burst before the creature's emerald orbs, both blinding and startling it. It ducked back, swatting uselessly at flashing patterns. Dragging himself out of reach, Ronan rose. There was no chance of flight, that would only serve to turn his back on the beast, and his protective spell was already weakening. A few more slashes and the claws would be ripping the wizard to the bone. Fire had worked against the ghoul on the island, and Ronan saw no reason why such a tried and true spell would not benefit him again. He muttered the words, which, inexplicably, came out in reverse. Worse, Ronan found himself moving backward, returning to the wild claws of the blinded beast. Time had turned in on itself. But how? The answer materialized from further in the passage. Krasus' anomaly had caught up. Ghostly images fluttered by Ronan. Knights riding into battle. A wedding scene. A storm over the sea. Orcs uttering war chants around the fire. Strange creatures locked in combat. Suddenly he could move forward again. Ronan darted out of the beast's reach, then turned to face it again. This time he did not hesitate, casting his spell. The flames burst forth in the form of a great hand, but as they neared the monstrous creature, they slowed, then stopped, frozen in time. Swearing, Ronan started another spell. The 8-legged horror leapt around the frozen fire, howling as it charged the human. Ronan cast. The earth beneath the abomination exploded, a storm of dirt rising up and covering the looping creature. It howled again, and, despite the intense forces against it, struggled toward the mage. A crust formed over the legs and torso. The mouth shut tight as a layer of rock-solid earth sealed it. One by one, the inhuman orbs were covered by a film of dust. Just a few feet from its victim, the creature stilled. To all appearances, it now seemed but a perfectly cast statue, not the actual monster itself. At that moment, Krasus' voice filled Ronin's head. At last, the Dragon Mage called. Ronin, the disturbance is expanding. It's almost upon you. Distracted by the fearsome beast, the wizard had not glanced at the anomaly. When he did, his eyes widened. It filled a space 10 times higher, and now doubt 10 times wider than the pass. Solid rock meant nothing to it. The anomaly simply passed through it as if it did not exist. Yet in its wake, the landscape changed. Some of the rock looked more weathered, while other portions appeared as if newly cooled from the titanic throes of birth. The worst transformations seemed to take place wherever the edges of the fiery flower touched. Ronin did not want to think what would happen if the thing touched him. He started running again. Its movement and growth have suddenly expanded much faster for reasons I do not understand, Krasus went on. I fear I will not reach you in time. You must cast a spell of teleportation. My spellwork doesn't always work the way it should, he responded. The anomaly is affecting it. We will stay linked. That should help strengthen your casting. I will guide you to me and we can regroup. Ronin did not care to teleport himself to places he had never seen, the inherent risk being that of ending up encased in a mountain. But with Krasus linked to him, the task would be a much simpler one. He focused on Krasus, picturing the Dragon Mage. The spell began to form. Ronin felt the world around him shift. The fiery blossom suddenly expanded to nearly twice its previous dimensions. Only too late did Ronin realize why. It was reacting to the use of magic. His magic. He wanted to stop the spell, but it was already too late. Krasus, break the link! Break it before you also... The anomaly swallowed him. Ronin? But Ronin could not answer. He flailed around and around, tossed about like a leaf in a tornado. With each revolution he flew faster and faster. The sounds and sights assailed him. He saw past, present and future, and understood each for what it was. He caught a glimpse of the petrified beast as it flew wildly past him into what could only be described as a whirlpool in time. Other things flew by, random objects and even creatures. An entire ship, its sails tattered, its hull crushed in near the bow. Soared by, vanishing. A tree on which still perched a flock of birds followed. In the distance, a kraken, 50 feet in length from tip to head, of head to end of tentacle, reached out but failed to drag Ronin along before vanishing with the rest. From somewhere came Krasus' faint voice. Ronin. He answered, but there was no reply. The whirlpool filled his gaze. And as it sucked him in, Ronin's last thoughts were of Verisa and the children he would never know. Chapter 4. He sensed the slow but steady growth of the leaves, the branches and the roots. He sensed the timeless wisdom, the eternal thoughts within. Each giant had its own unique signature, as was true within any individual. They are the guardians of the forest, came his mentor's voice. They are as much its soul as I. They are the forest. A pause. Now, come back to us. Malfurion Stormranger's mind respectfully withdrew from the gargantuan trees, the elders of the heavily wooded land. As he retreated, his own physical surroundings gradually reappeared, albeit murky at first. He blinked his silver, pupilless eyes twice, bringing everything back into focus. His breath came in ragged gasps, but his heart swelled with pride. Never before had he reached so far. You have learned well, young night elf, a voice like a bear's rumbled. Better than even I could have expected. Sweat poured down Malfurion's vile countenance. His patron had insisted that he attempt his next monumental step at the height of day, his people's weakest point of time. Had it been at night, Malfurion felt certain that he would have been stronger, but as Cenarius pointed out again and again, that would have defeated the purpose. What his mentor taught him was not the sorcery of the night elf, but almost its exact opposite. And in so many ways, Malfurion had already become the opposite of his people. Despite their tendencies toward flamboyant garments, for instance, Malfurion's own were very subdued. A cloth tunic, a simple leather jerkin, and pants, knee-high boots. His parents, had they not perished by accident years before, would have surely died of shame. His shoulder-length, dark green hair surrounded a narrow visage akin to a wolf's. Malfurion had become something of an outcast among his kind. He asked questions, suggested that all traditions were not necessarily the best, and even dared once mention that beloved Queen Ajara might not always have the concern of her subjects foremost on her thoughts. Such actions left him with few associates, and even fewer friends. Alright, quick break for ads. Also, I think I might be able to finish the next paragraph, we'll see. In fact, in Malfurion's mind, he could truly only count 3 as friends. First and foremost had to be his own twin, the equally troublesome Illidan. While Illidan did not shy away from the traditions and sorcery of the Night Elves as much as he had a tendency to question the governing authority of the Elders. Also a great crime. But yeah, we are familiar with both of these characters, Illidan and Malfurion, from Warcraft 3. So I hope you will enjoy what's happening with them. They've been around for a long time, as you can tell. Like Tyrande, like, remember where she mentioned upon seeing Archimonde again that it's been 10,000 years? They've been around for that long. Where's the ad break? Come on, Bezos. Collect your money so I can move on with my life. Alright, quickly checking something because wait times. There it is. Alright. Right, maybe Shucks is actually not coming around today because he should be online by now, but he's not. So maybe that's not happening. Which is a shame. I had hoped to raid him. On another note, I found out what causes that funny bug with the Griffin art reappearing on retail. And it's not Druid exclusive, I have it on all my other characters too. It's actually like when the yeah, we'll see. If I can raid someone. I'm not sure if anyone who's doing the special stuff is online, except Nabble. But that's, I don't know how much longer he streams. Anyway, let's continue. What did you see? His brother, seated beside him on the grass, asked eagerly. Illidan would have been identical to Malfurion, if not for his midnight blue hair and amber eyes. Children of the moon, nearly all night elves had eyes of silver. Thus very few born with ones of amber were seen as destined for greatness. But if greatness was to be Illidan's, he first had to curb both his temper and his impatience. He had come with his twin to study this new path that used the power of nature. Their mentor termed it Druidism, believing he would be the quicker student. Instead, he often miscast spells and failed to concentrate enough to maintain most trances. That he was fairly adept at traditional sorcery did not assuage Illidan. He had wanted to learn the ways of Druidism because such unique skills would mark him as different, as nearing that potential everyone had spoken about since his birth. I saw How to explain it even to his brother? Malfurion's brow wrinkled. I saw into the hearts of the trees, the souls, not simply theirs either. I think I saw into the souls of the entire forest. How wonderful, gasped a female voice at his other side. Malfurion fought to keep his cheeks from darkening to black, the night elf equivalent of embarrassment. Of late, he had been finding himself more and more uncomfortable around his other companion, and yet he could not think of himself far from her either. With the brothers had come Tyrande Whisperwind, their greatest friend since childhood. They had grown up together, the three, inseparable in every way until the last year, when she had taken the robes of a novice priestess in the temple of Elune, the moon goddess. There she learned to become attuned to the spirit of the goddess, learned to use the gifts all priestesses were granted in order to let them spread the word of their mistress. She it had been who had encouraged Malfurion when he had chosen to turn from the sorcery of the Night Elves to another, earthier power. Tyrande saw druidism as a kindred force to the abilities her deity would grant her once she completed her own training. But from a thin, pale child who had more than once bested both brothers in races and hunting, Tyrande had become, since joining the temple, a slim yet well-curved beauty, her smooth skin now a soft light violet and her dusky blue hair streaked with silver. The mousy face had grown fuller, much more feminine and appealing. Perhaps too appealing. And added Illidan, not so impressed. Was that all? It's a good start, rumbled the tutor. The great shadow fell over all three young night elves, stifling even Illidan's rampant mouth. Although over 7 feet tall themselves, the trio were dwarfed by Cenarius, who stood well above 10. His upper torso was akin to that of Malfurion's race, although a hint of the emerald forest colored his dark skin, and he had a much broader, more muscular build than either of his male students. Beyond the upper body, any similarity ended. Cenarius was no simple night elf, after all. He was not even mortal. Cenarius was a demigod. His origins were known only to him, but he was as much a part of the Great Forest as it was of him. When the first Night Elves had appeared, Cenarius had already long existed. He claimed kinship with them, but never had he said in what way. Those few who came to him for guidance left ever touched, ever changed. Others did not even leave, becoming so transformed by their teachings that they chose instead to join the demigod in the protection of his realm. Those were no longer elves, but woodland guardians physically altered forever. A thick moss-green mane flowing from his head, Cenarius eyed his pupils fondly with orbs of pure gold. He patted Malfurion gently on the shoulder with hands that ended in talons of gnarled, aged wood. Talons still capable of ripping the night elf to shreds without effort. Then backed away, on 4 strong legs. The upper torso of the demigod might have resembled that of a night elf, but the lower portion was that of a huge, magnificent stag. Cenarius moved about effortlessly, as swift as nimble as any of the three. He had the speed of the wind, the strength of the trees. In him was reflected the life and health of the land. He was its child and father all in one. And like a stag, he also had antlers, giant, glorious antlers that shaded his stern yet fatherly visage. Matched in prominence only by his lengthy, rich beard, the antlers were the final reminder that any blood link between demigod and night elf existed far, far in the past. You have all done well, he added in a voice that even ever sounded of thunder. Leaves and twigs literally growing in his beard, his hair shook whenever the deity spoke. Go now. Be among your own again for a time. It will do you some good. All three rose, but Malfurion hesitated. Looking at his companions, he said, You go on ahead. I'll meet you at the trail's end. I need to talk with Cenarius. We could wait, Tyrande replied. There's no need. I won't be long. Then by all means, Illidan quickly interjected, taking Tyrande's arm. We should let him be. Come, Tyrande. She gave Malfurion one last lingering glance that made him turn away to conceal his emotions. He waited for the two to depart, then turned again to the demigod. The descending sun created shadows in the forest that seemed to dance for the pleasure of Cenarius. The demigod smiled at the dancing shadows, the trees and other plants moving in time with them. Malfurion went down on one knee, his gaze to the earth. Marshando, he began, calling Cenarius by the title that meant in the old tongue, Honored Teacher. Forgive me for asking. You should not act so before me, young one. Arise. The Night Elf reluctantly obeyed, but he kept his gaze down. This made the demigod chuckle, a sound accented by the sudden lively chirping of songbirds. Whenever Cenarius reacted, the world reacted in concert with him. You pay me even more homage than those who claim to preach in my name. Your brother does not bend to me, and for all her respect of my power, Tyrande has Whisperwind gives herself only to Elune. You offered to teach me, us, Malfurion responded, what no Night Elf has ever learned. He still recalled the day when he had approached the Sacred Wood. Legends abounded about Cenarius, but Malfurion had wanted to know the truth. However, when he had called out to the demigod, he had not actually expected an answer. He had also not expected Cenarius to offer to be his teacher. Why the demigod would take on so mundane a task was beyond Malfurion. Yet here they were together. They were more than deity and Night Elf, more than teacher and student. They were also friends. No other Night Elf truly wishes to learn my ways, Cenarius replied. Even those who has taken up the mantle of the forest, none of them has truly followed the path I now show you. You are the first with the possible aptitude, the possible will, to truly understand how to wield the forces inherent in all nature. And when I say you, young elf, I speak entirely in the singular. This was not what Malfurion had remained to talk about, and so the words struck him hard. But Tyrande and Illidan, the demigod shook his head. Of Tyrande we have already spoken. She has promised herself to Elune, and I will not poach in the Moon Goddess as well. Of your brother, however, I can only say that there's much promise to Illidan, but I believe that promise lies elsewhere. I don't know what to say. And in truth, Malfurion did not. To be told so suddenly that Illidan and he would not follow the same path, that Illidan even appeared to waste his efforts here. It was the first time that the twins would not share in their success. No, Illidan will learn. He's just more headstrong. There's so much pressure upon him. His eyes are a sign of some future mark upon the world, but he will not make it following my teachings. Cenarius gave Malfurion a gentle smile. But you will try to teach him yourself, will you not? Perhaps you can succeed where I have failed? The Night Elf flushed. Of course Seshando would read his thoughts on that subject. Yes, Malfurion intended to do what he could to push Illidan further along, but he knew that doing so would be a harder task. Learning from the demigod was one thing, learning from Malfurion would be another. It would show that Illidan was not first, but second. Now, added the Forest Lord quietly, as a small red bird alighted on his antlers and its paler mate did so on his arm. Such sights were common around Cenarius, but they ever left the elf marveling. You came to ask me something. Yes, great Cenarius, I've been troubled by a dream, a reoccurring one. The golden eyes narrowed. Only a dream? That is what troubles you? Malfurion grimaced. He had already berated himself several times for even thinking of distracting the demigod with his problem. Of what harm was a dream, even one that repeated itself? Everyone dreamed. Yes, it comes to me every time I sleep, and since I've been learning from you, it's grown stronger, more demanding. He expected Cenarius to laugh at him, but instead the Forest Lord studied him closely. Malfurion felt the golden orbs, so much more arresting than even his brother's own, burrow deep within him, reading the Night Elf inside and out. At last Cenarius leaned back. He nodded once to himself and in a more solemn voice said, Yes, you are ready, I think. Ready for what? In response, Cenarius held up one hand. The red bird leapt down to the offered hand, its mate joining it there. The demigod stroked the backs of both once, whispered something to them, then let the pair fly off. Cenarius looked down at the Night Elf. Illidan and Tyrande will be informed that you are staying behind for a time. They have been told to leave without you. But why? The golden eyes flared. Tell me of your dream. Taking a deep breath, Malfurion began. The dream started as always, with the Well of Eternity as its focal point. At first the waters were calm, but then, from the center, a maelstrom rapidly formed, and from the depths of the maelstrom creatures burst forth, some of them harmless, others malevolent. Many he did not even recognize, as if they came from other worlds, other times. They spread in every direction, fleeing beyond his sight. Suddenly the whirlpool vanished, and Malfurion stood in the midst of Kalimdor. But a Kalimdor stripped of all life. A horrible evil had laid waste to the entire land, leaving not so much as a blade of grass or a tiny insect alive. The once proud cities, the vast, lush footlands, nothing had been spared. Even more terrible, for as far as the eye could see, the scorched, cracked bones of night elves lay strewn everywhere. The skulls had been caved in. The stench of death was strong in the air. No one, not even the old, infirm, or young, had been spared. Heat, horrific heat, had assailed Malfurion then. Turning, he had seen in the distance a vast fire, an inferno reaching into the heavens. It burned everything it touched, even the very wind. Where it moved, nothing, absolutely nothing, remained. Yet as frightening as the scene had been, it was not that which had finally awakened the Night Elf in a cold sweat, but rather something he had sensed about the fire. It had been alive. It knew the terrors it brought, knew and reveled in them, reveled and hungered for more. All humor had fled Cenarius' visage by the time Malfurion finished. His gaze flickered to his beloved forest and the creatures thriving within. And this nightmare repeats itself with every slumber? Every one, without fail. I feared then that this is an omen. I sensed in you from our first encounter the makings of the gift of prescience, one of the reasons I chose to make myself known to you, but it is stronger than even I ever expected. But what does it mean? The Night Elf pleaded. If you say this is an omen, I've got to know what it portends. And we shall try to discover that. I said, after all, that you are ready. Ready for what? Cenarius folded his arms. His tone grew more grave. Ready to walk the Emerald Dream. Nothing in the demigod's teachings so far had referred to this Emerald Dream, but the manner in which Cenarius spoke of it made Malfurion realize the importance of this next step. What is it? What is it not? The Emerald Dream is the world beyond the waking world. It is the world of the spirits, the world of the sleepers. It is the world as it might have been, if the sentient creatures had not come about to ruin it. In the Emerald Dream it is possible, with practice, to see anything, go anywhere. Your body will enter a trance and your dream form will fly from it to wherever you need to go. It sounds dangerous. It is, young Malfurion. Even the well-trained, the experienced, can lose themselves in the Emerald Dream. You know I call it the Emerald Dream. That is the color of its mistress, Ysera, the Great Aspect. It is the realm of her and her dragonflight. She guards it well and allows only a few to enter it. My own dryads and keepers make use of the Emerald Dream in their duties, but sparingly. I've never heard of it, Malfurion admitted with a shake of his head. Likely because no night elf, save those in my service, has ever walked it, and they only when they were no longer of your race. You would be the first of your kind to truly take the path, if you so desire. The idea both unnerved and excited Malfurion. It would be the next step in his studies, and a way, perhaps, to make sense of his constant nightmare. Yet, Cenarius had made it clear that the Emerald Dream could also be deadly. What might happen? What might go wrong? Even the experienced can lose their way back if they become distracted, the demigod replied. Even I. You must remain focused at all times. Know your goal. Otherwise your body might sleep forever. There was more, the Night Elf suspected, but Cenarius for some reason wanted him to learn on his own, if Malfurion chose to walk the Emerald Dream. He decided he had no other recourse. How do I start? Cenarius fondly touched the top of his student's head. You are certain? Very. Then simply sit as you have for your other lessons. When the slighter figure had obeyed, Cenarius lowered his own four-legged form to the earth. I will guide you in this first time, then it is up to you. Lock your gaze in mine, Night Elf. The demigod's golden orbs snared Malfurion's eyes. Even had he wanted to, it would have taken mammoth effort for him to pull his own gaze away. He felt himself drawn into Cenarius' mind, drawn into a world where all was possible. The sense of lightness touched Malfurion. Do you feel the songs of the stones, the dance of the wind, the laughter of the rushing water? At first, Malfurion felt no such thing, but when he heard the slow, steady grinding, the shifting of earth, belatedly, he realized that this was how the stones and rocks spoke as, over the eons, they made their way from one point in the world to another. After that, the others became more evident. Every part of nature had its own unique voice. The wind spun around in merry steps when pleased, or in violent bursts when the mood grew darker. The trees shook their crowns, and the raging water of a nearby river chuckled as the fish within it darted up to spawn. But in the background, Malfurion thought he sensed distant discord. He tried to focus on it, but failed. You are not yet in the Emerald Dream. First, you must remove your earthly shell, the voice in his head instructed. As you reach the state of sleep, you will slip your body off as you would a coat. Start from your heart and mind, for they are the links that most bind you to the mortal plane. See, this is how it is done. Malfurion touched at his heart with his thoughts, opening it like a door and willing his spirit free. It is the same with his mind, although the earthly, practical side of any living creature protested at this action. Give way to your subconscious. Let it guide you. It knows of the realm of dreaming and is always happy to return there. As Malfurion obeyed, the last barrier slipped away. He felt as if he had sloughed off his skin the way a snake might. A sense of exhilaration filled him, and he almost forgot for what purpose he was doing this. But Cenarius had warned him to remain focused, and so the Night Elf fought the euphoria down. Now, rise up. Malfurion pushed himself up, but his body, legs still folded, remained where it was. His dream form floated a few feet off the ground, free of all restraints. Had he so desired, Malfurion knew that he could have flown to the stars themselves. But the Emerald Dream lay in a different direction. Turn again to your subconscious, Demigod instructed. It will show you the path, for that lies within, not without. As he followed Cenarius' instructions, the Night Elf saw the world change further around him. A hazy quality enveloped everything. Images, endless images, overlapped one another, but with concentration Malfurion discovered that he could see each separately. He heard whispers and realized that they were the inner voices of dreamers throughout the world. From here, you must take the path by yourself. He felt his link to Cenarius all but fade. For the sake of Malfurion's concentration, the demigod had been forced to pull back. However, Cenarius remained a presence, ready to aid his student if the need arose. As Malfurion moved forward, his world turned a brilliant, gem-like green. The haze increased and the whispers became more audible. A landscape vaguely seen beckoned to him. He had become part of the Emerald Dream. Following his instincts, Malfurion floated toward the shifting dreamscape. As Cenarius said, it looked as the world would have looked had night elves and other creatures not come into being. There was a tranquility in the Emerald Dream that made it tempting just to stay forever, but Malfurion refused to give in to that temptation. He had to know the truth about his dreams. He had no idea at first where his subconscious was taking him, but somehow suspected it would lead him to the answers he desired. Malfurion flew over the empty paradise, marveling at all he saw. But then, in the midst of his miraculous journey, he felt something amiss again. The faint discord he had sensed earlier increased. Malfurion tried to ignore it, but it gnawed at him like a starving rat. He finally veered his spirit form toward it. Suddenly, ahead of him lay a huge, black lake. Malfurion frowned, certain that he recognized the foreboding body of water. Dark waves lapped its shores, and an aura of power radiated from its center. The Well of Eternity. But if this was the well, where was the city? Malfurion eyed the dreamscape where he knew the capital should have been, trying to summon an image of it. He had come here for a reason, and now he believed it had to do with the city. By itself, the Well of Eternity was an astonishing thing, but it was the source of power only. The discord the Night Elf felt originated from somewhere else. He stared at the empty world, demanding to see the reality. And without warning, Malfurion's dream self materialized over Zinajari, the capital of the Night Elves. In the old tongue, Zinajari translated into the glory of Ashara. So beloved had the queen been when she had made her ascension to the throne, that the people had insisted on renaming the capital in her honor. Thinking of his queen, Malfurion suddenly beheld the palace itself, a magnificent structure surrounded by a huge, well-guarded wall. He frowned, knowing it well. This was, of course, the grand abode of his queen. Even though he had at times made mention of what he believed to be her faults, Malfurion actually admired her more than most thought. Overall, she had done much good for her people, But on occasion he believed Azshara simply lost her focus. As with many other Night Elves, he suspected any problem they had to do in part with the Nightborn, who administered the realm in her name. The wrongness grew worse the nearer he floated down toward the palace. Malfurion's eyes widened as he saw the reason. With the summoning of the vision of Sinashari, he had also summoned a more immediate image of the well. The black lake now swirled madly, and what appeared to be monstrous strands of multicolored energy shot up from its depths. Powerful magic was being drawn from the well into the highest tower, its only possible purpose the casting of a spell of impossible proportions. The dark waters beyond the palace moved with such violence that to Malfurion they seemed to be boiling. The more those within the tower summoned the might of the well, the more terrible the fury of the elements. Above, the storm-wracked heavens screamed and flashed. Some of the buildings near the edge of the well threatened to be washed away. What are they doing? Malfurion wondered, his own quest forgotten. Why do they continue even during weakness of day? But day was only a term now. Gone was the sun that dampened the Night Elf's abilities. Even though evening had not yet come, it was as black as night above Sinashari. No, even blacker. This was not natural and certainly not safe. What could those within be toying with? He drifted over the walls, past stone-faced guards ignorant of his presence. Malfurion floated to the palace itself, but when he sought to enter, certain that his dream form would pass through something so simple as stone, the Night Elf discovered an impenetrable barrier. Someone had encased the palace in protective spells so intricate, so powerful, that he could not pierce them. This only made Malfurion more curious, more determined. He swooped around the structure, rising again toward the tower in question. There had to be a way in. He had to see what madness was going on inside. With one hand, he reached out to the array of protective spells, seeking the point that bound them all together, the point by which they could also be unbound. And suddenly, pain unimaginable racked Malfurion. He screamed silently, no sound able to voice his agony. The image of the palace of Sinashari vanished. He found himself in an emerald void, caught within a storm of pure magic. The elemental powers threatened to rip his dream form into 1,000 pieces and scatter them in every direction. But in the midst of the monstrous chaos, he suddenly heard the faint calling of a familiar voice. Malfurion, my child, come back to me. Malfurion, you must return. Vaguely the Night Elf recognized Cenarius' desperate summons. He clung to it as a drowning person in the middle of the sea might cling to a tiny piece of driftwood. Malfurion felt the woodland deity's mind reach out to him, guide him in the proper direction. The pain began to lessen, but Malfurion was exhausted beyond measure. A part of him simply wanted to drift among the dreamers, his soul never returning to his flesh. Yet he realized that to do so would mean his end, and so he fought against the deadly desire. And as the pain dwindled away, as Cenarius' touch grew stronger, Malfurion, that name is messing me up, somewhat fierce. Malfurion sensed his own link to his mortal form. Eagerly he followed it, moving faster and faster through the Emerald Dream. With a gasp, the young Night Elf awoke. Unable to stop himself, Malfurion tumbled into the grass. Mighty yet still gentle hands picked him back up to sitting position. Water dribbled into his mouth. He opened his eyes and beheld Cenarius' concerned visage. His mentor held Malfurion's own water sack. You have done what few others could do, the stag god murmured. And in doing so, you almost lost yourself forever. What happened to you, Malfurion? You went even beyond my sight. I sensed something terrible. The cause of your nightmares? The Night Elf shook his head. No, I don't know. I found myself drawn to Sinashari. He tried to explain what he had witnessed, but the words seemed so insufficient. Cenarius looked even more disturbed than he, which worried Malfurion. This does not bode well. No. You are certain it was the palace? It had to be Azshara and her highborn? I don't know if one or both, but I can't help feeling that the queen must be a part of it. Azshara is too strong-willed. Even Xavier's can't control her, I think. The Queen's counselor was an enigmatic figure, as distrusted as Azara was loved. You must think about what you say, young Malfurion. Yes, you are suggesting that the ruler of the Night Elves, she whose name is heard in song each day, is involved in some spellwork that could be a threat not only to your kind, but to the rest of the world. Do you understand what that means? The image of Zinajari intermingled with the scene of devastation, and Malfurion found both compatible with each other. They might not be directly linked, but they shared something in common. What that was, though, he did not know yet. I understand one thing, he muttered, recalling the perfect, beautiful face of his queen and the cheers that accompanied even her briefest appearances. I understand that I must find out the truth wherever that truth leads, even if in the end it costs me my very life. Right, quick break for ads. As usual. Well, it wasn't exactly a dream. Oh, you mean the one with the devastation? Yeah, that one. Yeah. You know, if you dream that everything is dead, that's probably never a good sign. I'm gonna have to practice that name, because I'm gonna be reading it a lot, I think. That's messing me up so much. I don't know why. I think it feels somehow often like it's like a three-syllable name, and it's like it doesn't fit with the flow a lot of times when you're reading it aloud. So it's fun times. Chapter should be almost done though. Ah, I got locked out. Logging back in. Alright. Goody. So, let's finish the chapter. The shadowed form touched with his talon the small golden sphere in his other scaled palm, bringing it to life. Within it, there materialized another, almost identical shadow. The light from the sphere did nothing to push back the darkness surrounding the figure, just as on the other end the sphere used by the second form also failed. The magic cast to preserve each one's identity was old and very strong. The well is still in the midst of terrible throes, commented the one who had initiated contact. So it has been for some time, replied the second, tail flicking behind him. The Night Elves play with powers they do not appreciate. Has there been an opinion formed on your end? The darkened head within the sphere shook once. Nothing significant so far, but what can they possibly do save perhaps to destroy themselves? It would not be the first time one of the ephemeral races did so, and surely not the last. The first nodded, so it seems to us. And the others. All the others? Hissed the second, for the first time some true curiosity in his tone. Even those of the Earthwarders flight? No. They keep their own counsel, as usual of late. They are little more than Eltharion's reflection. Unimportant, then. Like you, we shall continue to monitor the Night Elf's folly, but it is doubtful that it will amount to much more than the extinction of their kind. Should it prove to be more, we shall act if we are ordered to act by our lord, Malygos. The pact remains unbroken, responded the first. We too shall act only if commanded by Her Majesty, the glorious Alexstrasza. This conversation is over then. With that, the sphere went black. The second form had severed the link. The other rose, dismissing the sphere. With a hiss, he shook his head at the ignorance of the lesser races. They constantly meddled in things beyond their capabilities and so often paid fatally for it. Their mistakes were their own to suffer, so long as the world as a whole did not suffer with them. If that happened, then the dragons would have to act. Foolish, foolish night elves. But in a place between worlds, in the midst of chaos incarnate, eyes of fire turned in sudden interest. The work of the Ajara's highborn having also reached them. Somewhere, the one who gazed realized, somewhere someone had called upon the power. Someone had drawn from the magic in the mistaken belief that they and they alone knew of it, knew how to wield it. But where? He searched, almost had the source, then lost it. It was near though, very near. He could wait. Like the others, he had begun to grow hungry again. Surely if he waited a little longer, he would sense exactly where among the worlds the casters were. He smelled their eagerness, their ambition. They would not be able to stop drawing from the magic. Soon he would find the way through to their little world. And he and the rest would feed. Alright, that's the chapter done. Oh, I have mail. I think my auctions sold. Or at least one of them. Let's see. Mailbox. Oh, the Shadow Gem auctions was successful. That's cool. Alright, let's go back east to the Murloc quests, so we get those out of the way. So yeah, chapter 3 and 4. Something has happened to Ronin. He's been sucked into the time anomaly. Which, you know, is usually not a good time to have happen to you. Fuck knows what happened to Krasus now. And Malfurion and Illidan and Tyrande are around. And he's... well, Malfurion has seen a weird dream that seems to foretell the future. Not a very pleasant future, but, you know. And somehow the Highborn and the Queen is involved. We don't yet know how, but things are happening. Yeah, next time we'll do chapters 5 and 6. Which I'll have to check how many pages that are. Well, you know, 2 chapters a stream seems to be working so far. Somewhat. So we'll probably be done with the first book well before I reach max level. Like even max level for classic, which is 60. But the, like, leveling will take a while soon. Like, I only made like 1 level today. We're about to reach level 9. It's like 600-ish more experience. Right. We do have a quest here. Let's pick that up. And we're also... Yeah, it might be a little hard now.
Light be with you.
The Defiers gang on Northshire wears burlap masks, but the Defiers in Elven wear linen, which I can use to make fine linen goods. Bring me red linen bandanas, and I'll use them to fashion something for you. Defiers gang members have camps pocketed throughout Elven.
Be careful.
Oh, another quest. And like this is still a bit, but this is where the logging camp is.
Need help?
I've got a real problem on my hands. I have a deadline looming for an order of lumber, and I'm running out of time. The wolves and bears north of here have chased my workers away from the bundles of wood that I've already chopped. I've already talked to Deputy Rainer about clearing the animals, but I need someone to go collect the wood for me. If you could collect 8 bundles of wood for me, I might just make my deadline.
Go with honor, friend.
It did save that one, that's good. Alright, so we need to go north here. Ooh, there's a bundle of wood. It's sparkling. I don't think wood usually does that, but you know. Oh, and these are prowlers. That's the ones I need for the other quest. That's good. So we'll kill a few wolves here. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's the Murlocs. I don't exactly remember where the guards were. Ah, no, that's a Murloc. I think one might be a bit more here. I mean, since it's already marked as quest complete, I probably just have to find the body. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere along the water. Probably not this close to the thing. Let's put this down close. Ah! There he is. A half-eaten body. Although much has been stripped from the corpse, strewn nearby is a medallion with the words Footman Malachi Stone etched upon it. Upon further searching the area, you find rabbit footprints leading east along the shore of Stone Cairn Lake. In the distance to the east, you can just barely see a Murloc village. Perhaps Wolf's fate ended there. There are some defiers on this island. Which I also need. There is the quest marker. Let's help him. I won't get anything from this because it's grey, but you know, help save a player. You find around the neck of the corpse a metal medallion inscribed with the words Footman Rolf Hartford. Now that you have both medallions, deliver them to guard Thomas at the bridge, so that he might know the fate of his murdered guards. They be dead. Very dead. Almost entirely eaten. Eaten by Murlocs. What a way to go. Fine. No drinking any potions. I forbid it. Alright, that's those. There's only Murlocs up here, I believe. At least I don't see any wolves. There might be further north, there might be some. Can you kill it? Him. Yeah, they give you a debuff that you attack slower, which is not fun. Are there any more wolves up here? Yep. Excellent. And something else. It's gonna come down again. I don't know if that's a drop quest or not. We'll see. It is very suspicious that there's like a lone gnoll here though, so... Yay, he resisted. Fun times. Okay, nope. Ooh, we found another bag. That's cool. Some more backspace. Might as well take the ore while I'm here. Still need some more wolves. Ooh, he's level 10. Level is of course not always a good indicator. Because some mobs hit way harder than others. But these shouldn't be too bad. A one-handed mace. That's not useful. Didn't mine all of the copper vein apparently. Let's fix that. And just 2 more doggies. Kill it. God kills me. Ah, there you are. Still another. Okay, that's done. Right, there's not many Defiers around at the moment, which I don't really trust much. Ah, I found the camp of the gnolls. Don't have a quest for those yet, so we'll be ignoring them. Because, you know, silly things. Okay, there is a player here, so that explains why there's no Defiers around. Okay, you want that one? Sure. That's one. I'm hoping I don't pull that one by being so close. Oh, that's 2 of 6. We'll leave for now. I can turn in the other quests. Like at least the one about the wood. Maybe we'll find another bear. Still need one. Which I should be able to find if I go a bit more this way. Then you can turn that in as well. Which is also at the place where I turn in the quest for the guards. So, quick stop by here. See, there's already a dead bear. I need an alive one though. So I can make it dead. There were plenty of bears here before. I think. Or do I have to go more to the south? I think bears were more south of the road. Perhaps. Come on, just one. There we go. Found one. Now we can turn those in. They're both around here at the bridge, so that's not too far away.
Need help? For the Alliance.
Hello, Dustin. Have you discovered the fates of Rolf and Malachi?
Go with honor, friend.
You have confirmed my fears, Dustin. The Murlocs are a threat we cannot ignore.
Light bless you. Be careful.
Thanks a lot for the help, Dustin. Something in the forest must be making these animals so bold. Whatever it is, I hope it stays there.
For the Alliance. Light bless you.
Looks to me you've seen quite a bit of combat in your time, Paladin. If you haven't already, you should report to Brian Stoutmantle. He heads up the People's Militia, aimed at protecting the farmlands of Westfall. I bet he could use your help. You can usually find him in the stone tower on Sentinel Hill, just off the road in the middle of Westfall.
Be careful.
Tell Mush and Duggan of Malachi and Rolf's deaths, and report to him that the Murlocs in Eastern Elven cannot be contained by our current troop presence. I know we don't have many troops to spare, but hopefully Duggan can find someone.
Go with honor, friend.
Yeah, so we have our first quest that goes outside, because Westfall is one of the next zones. So that is gonna be a bit, because we still have some quests to do here. There's some warrior quest as well. Do I actually priest quest? There's a level 10 quest. Ugh, okay, hold on. Do I actually need... Can I disable those somehow? Like, it's... I'm not sure if I can ignore specific stuff. That's the thing
You need
about
something?
account-wide tracking. That deadline isn't getting any further away, Paladin. Please hurry and collect those bundles of wood.
Farewell.
Excellent. Thanks to you, I should be able to complete the order in time. To show my gratitude, I would like to offer some coin as compensation for your troubles.
Safe
Thank you and farewell.
travels.
I missed that there was that. Whoops. Let's go back to Goldshire, turn in that quest about the report for the Murlocs. We'll also pick up this map section here real quick. We're also halfway through the level already, so I mean, another half level in half an hour is probably not gonna happen. I think this is the Ridgepoint Tower that is mentioned here. Might at least be able to finish this one. Yep, Ridgepoint Tower. Then we can at least see the whole map of Elwyn for the first time in this playthrough. And we can make this section disappear. Achievement, and also this one, because that is just the achievement to explore. Zone drops. Yeah, that's that. World drop, what is this? Oh, because you need this for class quests. Okay. So I should definitely keep some linen cloth that I'm picking up. been given a blessing. Like, I'm literally a paladin myself. I can buff myself. Weird people. Oh yeah, we'll definitely hit 10 next time though, even if I don't do it today. This one it doesn't list how much experience those give in this version of the game, so you know what? I can just do this. I don't have to run all the way. This has an hour cooldown, but I won't be using it again for the next hour, so because in 20 minutes this is over. Let's quickly sell some things.
Well met. Light bless you. What can I do for you?
This news is troubling. Already our defenses are stretched thin, and losing Rolf and Malachi to those Murlocs put us in an even worse position. If things don't improve, they will be fighting Lordshire by the week's end.
For the Alliance.
For your shrewdness and valor, I have a marker here that is good for 1 piece of armor. I want you to take it to Sarah Timberlane at the East Rail logging camp. Give her the marker and she fashioned the armor for you. And after you receive it, Dustin, use it in the defense of Elwyn. The East Rail logging camp is beyond Guard Thomas's post to the east. I've just been there. Also, those are both useless to me. Also, we have enough level to see a quest here now. Elmore's
Have a
task.
good one.
There's a dwarven weaponsmith in Stormwind, Grimmond Elmore, who sent word that he needs help with a delivery. I believe he wants a package sent to his homeland in the north. You have a sturdy pair on you, so if you're interested in some legwork, then speak with Grimmond. We could use you down here, but we must also keep our ties strong with the dwarves. You can find Grimmond Elmore at the weapon shop in the dwarven district of Stormwind in the northeast section of town. Also,
King's honor, friend.
paladin training? Anything? Anything? Nope.
Be careful.
Alright. So, let's get these 2 exploration. This is a level 15 quest, apparently. Or at least told by the add-on. This should... yeah, it is red. Red quests are usually just... you should avoid those because they're more difficult. Higher level enemies and such. They will, like, become yellow eventually. There's the fires around here as well, but I don't think these drop the red linen bandanas. I'm not sure. Oops. That wasn't what I wanted. We'll see if they drop it, because these will be easier to kill. It doesn't say in the tooltip, so I'm not sure they will. Do I need to be closer here? No dying. Did he kick me? They do drop it. Yeah, I was also kind of distracted. Simi is whispering me. Ooh, there's a rare. Which is one of the ones I need for this point, but I don't know if I can kill him. I won't be pulling him alone. There's someone else in there, so that won't be possible right now. I don't know why this is not lighting up. I don't know if I need to go here. Let's just go to the garrison and get that on the map. I have responded to him outside, so we can close that so it doesn't annoy me anymore. Okay, that's Forest Edge. Okay, and we have the garrison. And that's all done now. Look how short the list is now.
Need help?
Hello, Paladin. I hope you've come to bolster our ranks. Beasts and thieves are spilling into our beloved Elvin, and we barely have enough men to keep the road safe. And if you haven't done so, read that notice about Hogger. He's a beast in yonder woods that must be dealt with.
Go with honor, friend.
Marshal Duncan sent you, eh? Well, you're not from the army, but if Duncan sent you, then that's good enough for me. Our situation is, to say the least, a stressed one. I hope you can give us a hand.
Light bless you.
Gnolls, brutish creatures with no decent business in these lands, have been seen along the borders of Elven Forest. A large pack of them, many more than we can handle alone, have infested the woods south of the guard tower yonder. Another group has infested the areas near Stone Cairn Lake to the east. The Stormwind army will command whomever helps kill them. Bring me the painted gnoll armbands as proof of your deed.
Be careful.
Wanted, Hogger. A huge gnoll, Hogger, is prowling the woods in southwestern Elven. He has overpowered all attempts at his capture. The Stormwind army has placed a generous bounty on the gnoll. To earn the reward, bounty hunters should bring proof of Hogger's demise to Marshal Duncan in Goldshire. What is this? Well, let's see me. Okay. Yes. So I can show him off. I'm not sure we'll be able to defeat him. Also not sure what Simi wants to do. This is like an 11+. This is a group quest. Hogger is kind of famous, yes, because he's essentially the first elite NPC you will find. I am kind of scared of... There he is. Because Hogger has... fuck. He has a huge range. He has 600 health. I'm not beating that alone, for sure. Can you reset? I don't want to fight you. Nope. Get away from me. Hey, Simi. It's fine. Usually if I'm on TBC Anniversary Online, you can probably assume that, like, if it's in the evening, that I'm live, because I won't probably not be playing this much otherwise at the moment. So, but yeah, I don't know if you, like, I just picked up the Hogger quest, so it's probably not gonna happen. I'm not sure. I do have a heal. I don't have much mana though, so I mean I can cast this, like, I mean I can switch out the lower one, I guess. That's that one. I can put this one. This heals like for less, but it also costs like half the mana. Let's move that there. That there. So now I have both. I mean, I don't have much, so... And he's 2 levels higher than us. Although I guess you have like some more gear. Because they have like 80 health more than me. Or maybe a buff. Who knows? Oh yeah, we're like... I mean... I might have to off-stream level some of the other classes so I can get these class quests done. Apparently. Ah, I see. Which I also need, like, all of these are mostly the class quests. I've seen Hogger. He immediately charged me from 5 miles away. Yeah, we'll see. Should probably be around here somewhere. I see him. There's someone else too. Wanna invite that one too? Because you're lean. I can't do anything. And let me... No. It's like... We should probably not pull the whole zone. Okay. I got the... We'll read that after. What are you laughing at? Okay, he's coming over. That should be a safe pull-ish. Yay, he resisted the stun. And I'm out of mana. Well, he's dead. Whatever. Okay. Well, we turn that in. That is gonna be a huge XP boost. We might actually be able to do the level 10 today after all. This note is a schedule with a list of days and times when a person, described only as the Collector, will receive a shipment of gold from the mines in Elven Forest. From the schedule, it looks as if the Collector resides near the Brackwell Pumpkin Patch in Eastern Elven. This sounds important. You should report it to Marshal Duncan in Goldshire. Oh, is that not here? Oh yeah, we need to go back to Goldshire for that. You know what? Let's check if the rare is still up. Together we can probably do this. Because maybe he drops the dagger. Probably not. Is he still in there? Nope. Not anymore. Too bad. Yep, well, you see, that is not gonna... You know, I don't have inventory space, right? I guess I can't buy bags with that. You also realize I won't be hitting 61 for quite a while, right? And also by 61, I'll have plate armor. Yeah.
What can I do for you? For the Alliance?
Yes, Hogger has been a real pain for me and my men. You have something to report about the beast?
Light bless you.
Ha! Well done. I was starting to think no one would take down that monster. Here you are, Dustin. And thanks. That gnoll was giving me a headache the size of Blackrock Spire. Ooh. Armor with strength.
For the Alliance.
What? We haven't had our people working the Elven mines for months? Let me see that note you have.
Go with honor, friend.
I have heard of this Collector, but I don't know whom he's working for. Thank you for the schedule. It will help us solve this mystery.
Be careful.
If the Collector is taking gold from our mines, then he's stealing from the kingdom. Bring the Collector to justice, and bring me the ring mentioned in the pickup schedule you gave me. May tell us whom the Collector is working for. That pickup schedule says the Collector is hiding out at the Brackwell Pumpkin Patch. You should search for him there.
Go with honor, friend.
I almost leveled up. Yeah, this one is definitely worth it. I mean, that's 3 strength. That gives me think I'm getting more boosted things. Putting that there. I mean, I'm not gonna be doing much longer Simi. Like 11 is the cutoff point. I'm just probably gonna turn in this quest and hope that it levels me up. Which it should. It's like I only need like 250 XP. And then I probably gonna stop for today. Since I also have a normal raid after at like 11:45. Ah, I see. Yeah, okay. That should last until I'm back on Tuesday, I suppose. More powerful spell. But yeah, since... Did it not save this? What the hell? I did not. Okay. It didn't give me the exploration thing. Is that even here? Oh, because it hasn't counted Stormwind City for some reason. I have walked through almost all of Stormwind City. It's a little bit weird. Oh well. It's not like those are Blizzard achievements, so they might be buggy. He's gonna catch me with his mount. Oh! What is this? Why is there a quest here?
Light be with you.
The Stormwind army has placed a bounty on Murloc lurkers and foragers in Elwyn. Slaughter them and bring me their torn Murloc fins, and the Stormwind army will reward you well. Ooh. Those are all single-hand weapons. The Murlocs have built a village at Stone Can Lake north of here, and another to the south where the stream forks.
Be careful.
I mean, I might be fast, but I'm not 100% mount speed fast, so... Alright, give me level 10, please and thank you.
Well met. Go with honor,
I've been
friend.
commissioned by the Stormwind army to supply their people with cloth and leather armor. If you have a marker for me, I'd be happy to make you something.
Farewell.
Ah, thank you for the marker. Please feel free to pick your choice of armor. Luck to you, brave paladin, and may this armor serve you well.
Be careful.
Are you for real? Yeah. Buff then. I'm gonna need to kill some Murlocs. At least like one. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of health. That's a lot of healing. That's like 10 times what I have in health. Alright. Couple Murlocs. And I should level up. There we go. Level 10. Now I can show off talents. So, Currently, we basically have the choice between more strength, more intellect, more armor from devotion aura, as well as higher block chance, and more attack power from Blessing of Might, and less mana cost for Judgment and Seals. I think the easiest choice is probably more strength right now. I mean, I don't really have a lot of strength. 34, so that will give me 1. Less than 1 right now. I mean, all of those are pretty small buffs, if at all. I might have to look up a leveling build or something for next time. But yeah, we'll see if the other item sells that I put in.
What can I do for you?
If not, I might re-put it in. Gonna keep those healing potions, for sure. These are stronger as well.
See you later.
Oh yeah. So more on Tuesday, where we'll get some more quests done here, hopefully, and finish on continue with chapter 5 and 6 of the Well of Eternity. See where that goes, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Have a great evening and a good night. Bye bye. And oh, hold on, let me check if there's anyone I could raid that does similar things. Let me see. Anything interesting? Any like special things? I don't want to raid it super. Let me scroll down. Like, let's boost like someone that's lower. Bup, 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 bup. So many. I saw someone who's doing housing. Let's go there. All right. They're just doing some housing decorations, so that's very spoiler free. And I'll be back tomorrow for a raid in FF14. Have a great night. Bye bye.